Here is the BBD from Beetronics. It's their first ever delay pedal. And it sounds like this. Yes, being a Beetronics pedal, it's going to give you weird, wacky, and creative sounds. But this also does meat and potatoes standard delay effects, like these. Now, normally at this point in my review videos, I would play it some more. I would go over the controls and see how easy it is to use. I would give my opinions on the sounds and let you know whether you should buy it or not. However, I was at Guitar Summit recently and I met with Felipe, the King Bee, and he did all that for me. And between you and me, I think he does a pretty good job. I'm at Guitar Summit with Felipe, the sexiest bee alive. Is that your official title?
No, they said about that. I heard that here.
Really?
As I was walking by.
And when he's not being a sexy bee, he's also being a sexy bee and explaining his pedals. So as we've got the video of this new pedal, I thought I'd get the bee himself to explain, like, how to get his favorite sounds or something like this.
Yeah, cool, let's go, yeah. I'll start just with the basics of the pedal. You know, we're on classic mode. I'm going to play some stuff and go through the tone control just so you hear the differences in the high pass and low pass. So just from that, you already get a lot of different tones that you usually don't hear on the BBD. Most of the BBDs, they're just the dark part. In general, already starts pretty dark, you know, and this thing, it already has... This is something that I already like on the basics of it, let's say. We have some performance functions, so the pedal is pretty straight up. What you see is what you get. No back-end controls, no alternate controls, nothing like that. You don't need to navigate, no menus. No 40-page manual this time. There's a few pages in the manual, but it's more just to really explain it. Anyways, it's pretty cool. The artwork's pretty rad. Another thing that I really like, and I think as I'm usually explaining, like, I think most people get drawn to it by the pitch shifting mode on the pedal, like, because of how different it is. The lo-fi, for me, it's one of the things that it came up as we were developing kind of. We knew we wanted to have a mode where we were going to do an irregular wave, like tape-ish thing of modulation, but we were only modulating the delay time, the normal what people would modulate. Sure. But then we came up with the idea, what if we modulate the tone? Given the tone control is a pretty unique control, and we have a low pass and a high pass signal that they are both running in parallel, and the mix of them is your flat, so it can do it like this, so it does that.
And we're in stereo, so is that also in...
No, it's not in stereo, the pedal is mono, but like,
okay.
But you will get the picture of the repeats get brighter and darker at the same time that they pitch up and down, and that's all in sync, so it gives a univibe-ish vibe for me. That's how I hear it. So, okay. I'll do full wet, so we really good. And if I take off the depth, it still modulates the tone, so you can have something with the pitch straight. but then I can bring in the depth, and it gets very magical. I'll make it very intense just so we. I feel like that's a taste of tone that does really not exist on anything else.
No, you're right. I'm getting Univibe, but I'm also getting Ambient, of course. It's doing things that I would normally require two pedals to do.
Yeah, it's like if you were with something in the loop, right? Like in the feedback loop. Like
also, the choice of what you're playing in this is beautiful. You very clearly know how to get the best out of this pedal.
Yeah.
It feels like you've built a pedal for yourself to make that music with.
Every pedal I build, I was probably building that
absolutely,
way.
Absolutely.
But that's definitely the approach, because I love like analog delays in general. I love tape delays. I love the Benson a lot. I love like all of that is like my passion. And then when we were set to, all right, like we're really gonna do, and this has been a long time coming, that we've been like, okay, we're gonna do it. One of the things for me was like, it has to be the basics, classics I had, analog, memory man, vibes. And I was like, all right, it has to do that pretty well. But I love synths. I love, all kinds of other stuff. So I was like, it has to also go on a creative path and on sounds that don't exist in other pedals. Otherwise, what's the purpose? Like at the end of the day, I can play other pedals as well. I want to make things that I cannot play, that they don't. So that's where we get also, like a lot of the ideas and all of the approach for the concept, obviously. I'll show you some of the pitch shifting for. Together, like so. This does a feedback boost when you hold, and then this will double the speed. Now I set to the 2x, so like. It's cool that you can combine it and you can like trigger like. Like if you go, for example, there's one mode where you do like 2 octaves, so it goes one and then the second, and it feels like triplets, so it gets a different feeling for that vibe. Try that like the. For example, on mod, that's a cool function as well, like because you can turn modulation off, so I can be using it as a basic delay, and then I can trigger. And also always resets the LFO pulse when you trigger. There's some nerdy things for the more nerd people that want to go through. You can invert the polarity of the waves. You can also make so modulation always starts from the bottom. So let's say this is a cool thing to do that I like, that not everybody's going to get that it does this at first, but it does this. So let's say if you have a pretty strong modulation, right, pretty strong depth, very slow speed, and you use the mod to trigger on and off, I'm going to play something, just hold it, the foot switch whenever it comes in. Yeah, you're going to see that the modulation starts from where it's at. And it,
Okay, so we're going
no, hold on, it's imported. Now it's off and now it's going to trigger. So like you could set for it to start from the peak of the wave. So every time you trigger, it would do a jump and then it would come down, and then it would hear. There's some tricky, like little nerdy things that you can do, but I'm not getting much into that. But these are some of my favorite things, like how you can combine the 2X, which is a taste of pitch, on the classic modes as well. For example, like if I'm on a classic, and let's say I do almost no modulation here, just like.
Oh, like that.
And then you can also go on the crazy shit. Just the high pass, you know. So you get the picture.
That's a lot of fun.
That's one of the things that I think this one hits a really good balance, the complexity.
Yeah.
And like it's simple enough and it's complex enough for you to stay lost in it if you want to get lost. But if you want to just do the basics, you just go, leave it everything in the center here, and your great sounding bucket brigade delay with tap tempo and with a very unique tone control, you know. So.
Thanks, man. Always a pleasure talking to you. And I look forward to everything you create because it always means it's fun. And that, for me, Beetronics is fun and music is fun and it all mixes together and yeah. So yes, there's a lot going on with this pedal, but it's not too complicated. When I first saw this, I kind of panicked because I thought it was going to be like the Zombie or the CB and have all sorts of hidden controls that you can only access by holding down certain things and pressing others. But there's none of that in this. And although the Zombie and CB are phenomenal pedals, they are so complicated. And this is straightforward. As Felipe says, it's what you see is what you get. You can have a regular delay or you can make it go crazy. Now I do have a couple of gripes with it, and the biggest one is the choice of pot used on some of the functions. These two pots here have very distinct modes, but they're not clicky, so it's a completely rotary knob like a pot on your guitar, and I would kind of want that to be clicking in place, but then I don't know if that's possible with so many options. So if you go to here, am I on that setting or am I on that setting? So as a quick look, I find that a little bit difficult. If you know what you're doing, of course, that's fine. The second gripe is minor. I don't like the color. That, of course, can be fixed by having a custom shop version done, which I'm sure Beetronics will be doing at some point. I love Beetronics designs. I love the way they do their manuals. I mean, look at that. That's art, quite literally. On the one hand, you're getting a beautiful sounding and utility-based pedal On the other hand, it's not just a delay pedal, it is a piece of art from start to finish. And if you subscribe to that way of thinking, that you want art on your board, this is perfect. There's a lot of magic hidden in these pedals that I have not seen in one pedal before, and I'm here for it. A big thanks to Felipe and Tato from Beetronics for spending some time with me. I had an absolute blast, and you can definitely see this BBD in some future videos because my goodness, is it fun. If you want to get one of these yourself, there are links in the video description. And finally, thank you to Face for sending it out for review. I'm giving it a big double thumbs up. I dig this pedal. Right, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!